Hey guys, Kaylee here from Expats Everywhere, and today I'm holding my pet, Pincho, because we have a really fascinating video coming up for you. I sat down with Mark Hernandez. He is a holistic pet practitioner, and he talks about when your pet just doesn't seem right, something seems a little bit off, what you should do. So he works with energetics and the energy and toxicity that might be going on in your house. So take a look at the video and check out his information in the description below. Welcome to Expats Everywhere. Can you tell us your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Mark Hernandez. I currently reside in Chicago. I live in Chicago, Illinois. I grew up in Texas, did a lot of field work in Mexico, and lived and worked in Taiwan.
Awesome. So you were an expat in Taiwan, and now you're back in the States?
Yeah, I was an expat from 2011 to 2013. I was teaching at an international school in Taiwan. My first background was in Spanish Hispanic studies, so I was teaching at a private school there.
And how was that?
It was a life-changing experience. You know, I'm a little bit older, and I thought, I'm ready for this. And I never really foresaw how it would really completely reshape, transform my life. So
Oh,
on all levels, in a good way. At first, it was, sometimes difficult, as some expats know, when you get kind of culturally discombobulated, it can be disconcerting. But in the long run, you realize, wow, what a gift.
yeah. Oh, very cool. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so I'm a holistic practitioner. So what I do is I help people and their animals when they've hit the wall with health and well-being issues. Basically, in a nutshell, I have some intuitive gifts and training for reading the subtle energy fields of people and animals. Okay, we're basically, as Einstein said many years ago, we're really pure energy. Okay, and what I have the gift for doing is reading the subtle energy fields, identifying and releasing energetic imbalances that are locking into place people's issues. So for a person, it may be that mysterious back pain that comes and goes for 20 years. It could be an issue of self-confidence. Maybe people are repeating patterns in their lives. Maybe they start a business and it always seems to follow the same pattern, the same story. So I can read the energy field and see what's locking into place those issues. So that's for people. On the pet side, I work with a lot of changes in behavior. What I mean by that, one example would be you have a dog or cat. They know where to go to the bathroom outside or in the litter box if it's a cat, and they start going all over the household. Okay? So first thing I'll ask you is, first, have you taken your pet to the vet? My work, I'm not a veterinarian. I'm not a replacement for your vet. So get your pet checked out. Make sure there's nothing, no infections or anything else going on. Okay, after you run the test, there's nothing going on there. Let's see what's going on at the energetic level. There are two main reasons pets have changes in behavior. The first is emotional stuff. They take on things going on in the household. There's a little fighting, some work stress, and along those lines, the pets will often take it on. And the other major category is toxicity.
What do you mean by toxicity?
Yeah. So examples of toxicity that come up in all my sessions, be they for people or animals, that can be cell phone radiation, Wi-Fi, heavy metals. If people ever had mercury fillings, that can be a source of imbalance. Vaccinations. I was vaccinated as a child. Most people were, I think. And there can be gunk in that can affect people. And so those are some examples of what I mean by toxicity.
Okay, so is this something that you did before you moved to Taiwan, or when you were in Asia, you kind of started getting into it?
Yeah, well, my energy journey started about 10 years ago in 2008. At the time, I was teaching at colleges and universities in the US. I saw that certain patterns were repeating in my professional life. It didn't really make a lot of sense. So what I did is I come from a family of teachers, healers, and doctors. So I picked up the phone, called my brother, doctor of integrative medicine. He set me up with an energy healer out in New Mexico. At the time, I was living in Boston. So I was working with this healer over the phone. Okay, this is 10 years ago too. And a couple sessions, couple months, I noticed that things improved. Not everything changed overnight, but the frozen needle started to move. It got my attention. I'm kind of stubborn, so I waited a couple more years. But then I called my brother back and said, hey, I want to learn that energy stuff because every one of us comes into this lifetime with a certain baseline abilities to do energy work, energy healing. And I think when I went through the cafeteria line, I got 2 or 3 extra scoops. Anyway, so I started trainings and certifications back in 2009. Now, my time in Taiwan, I was completing a certification program called the Emotion Code. And part of that certification, I had to work with a minimum of 25 people and 5 pets. It's like the practicum, the practice, hands-on practice. So I was continuing to work, and I had this discovery. A local Taiwanese friend called me, asked me if I want to go ice skating. Okay, ice skating in Taiwan, tropical Taiwan. And I hadn't been in 25 years, and it was on a whim. I said, okay, I'll go. So on the way to the ice skating rink, we passed this cat hotel, okay, in Taipei, right there. So it was basically a place where mostly Western expats would leave their cats when they're going out of town, out of the country, and they were really, really well taken care of. Anyway, rang the bell spontaneously, walked in, hoping that maybe the person there could refer me to an English-speaking expat shelter where I could work with the animals. Mm-hmm. It would help me with my certification. It would help the animals, and hopefully everyone would win. Well, it turns out that the owner of this cat hotel, she was a professional translator. Okay, worked with diplomats, English to Mandarin, was into holistic work herself. And so when I asked her, said, "Oh, I'm very interested in what you're doing. I have friends that are very interested in what you're doing. I'll book all your sessions, and you can do all your sessions in your cat hotel." And the cherry on top of the sundae was, she said, "And I'll be your translator," because I didn't speak Mandarin Chinese, and I still don't.
Yeah.
So I went from completely stuck to started working with pets. So it continued in Taiwan, and I've continued that since I've been back in the U.S.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting. So then there's a pet owner, and the pet owner is wondering, okay, what kinds of behaviors should I notice in my pet when I'm thinking, oh, I need to go ahead and go see you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, people know their pets really well. Today, at least in the Western world, at least in the U.S. and probably a lot of parts of Europe, their pets are like an integral part of their family. They're like their children.
Right.
So they're really attentive, and they notice the changes in behavior. They notice if they're just a little bit more sluggish. A lot of it's just intuitive, where they just pick it up. And then I always tell people, if you think something's going on, give me a call. If it's something I can help you with, I'll let you know. Or if I think it's just something more simple, you don't need to consult with me, I'll tell you that too, because I like to empower my clients to do as much as they can for themselves. Okay, I want to give them the tools. And then sometimes we're too close to a situation, we can't see our own eyeballs, and that's the time you book a session with me.
Okay, so are you able to do some sessions through Skype, FaceTime, over the phone if someone's not near you physically?
Yes, I'm what's called a distance healer or a remote healer. So the way it works is, like I said, my work is based in principles of quantum physics. There's no time, space, or distance. Everything's in the now. When I'm working with people, I always have their permission, be it a person or a pet. I must energetically ask for their permission. And then the other way, through that, I also connect with Source, Universal Source, and through that, able to see what's going on with the people or the animals.
Okay, great. So tell us what a typical body consultation would look like.
Yeah. So typically, a client, be it a person or animal, comes to me with an specific issue. This specific issue will be the gateway into the energetic system that's locking into place the issue. So the person comes to me with an issue. Let's say it's the peeing and pooing. I'll ask some quick questions. How long has it been going on? Sometimes it's been going on for 3 years, but it's intensified. It's usually typically a level 7 or higher, 10 being the highest, like of severity. And so with that information, the first thing I do is I connect with, let's say it's the pet. I'll connect with the pet, see that they're energetically testable, which means that they're properly hydrated and the spine's aligned. I test on myself because I'm accessing the information through myself. And then, like I said, ask for help from above because that's where the changes come from. I'm going to facilitate. So I'll ask the body, reason for this peeing and pooing. Let's say it's something emotional, anger, 2 months ago. Sometimes I'll say 2 months ago. And what I know is I'll say, He was like, was there any fighting in the house? Oh yeah, we've been having some issues. I said, okay. So I'll identify and release. I go 1, 2, 3. And when I'm releasing that, I'm releasing it from what's called in the acupuncture system. Those that know the acupuncture system, it's called the governing meridian. The governing meridian starts at the top of the lip, goes all the way down your spine. The governing meridian is like the grand central station of your energy system. So through my intention, as I release, it will release from the field. As I'm doing it, sometimes people feel it, they notice things, other times they don't, and I know it has been released. So I keep going, ask the body, reason, toxicity, Wi-Fi. Okay, again, it's all around us. It's in all my sessions. Release, 1, 2, 3. So I keep going until the body will say they're completely done with the issue or done for today. Typically, a body code session, when people tell me what's going on, be it for a person or an animal, 90% of the time, a session is 30 minutes, okay? And I tell people that when they book it, it'll be 30 minutes. The other 10%, they're ready for an hour session, but that's about 10%.
Wow.
And that's how it works.
Okay, and then the amount of sessions just kind of depends.
Exactly. So here's the way the energy field works. So 2 animals can have peeing and pooing issues for completely different reasons. It's possible that one animal maybe will energetically clear up 95% in one 30-minute session, and another may need a series of sessions because each animal is different. And what can happen, let's say I've found with peeing and pooing, 95% change at the time when I'm doing the session, the pet may be like 2% consciously aware. So if you look at the pet today and tonight, they're probably still going to be doing the peeing and pooing, okay? Sometimes it'll take 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. It's going to track out differently. So, that's how energy works. Sometimes the change shows up immediately on the physical plane. Other times it can take some time.
Okay, so do you have a couple success stories for our viewers that off the top of your head that you can tell them something that happened that and then the success to it?
Yeah. I was working when I was living in Texas. I was working with a woman. She called me. She's actually a yoga teacher herself, so does in the holistic space. She says, "Can you help me with my chihuahuas?" 2 chihuahuas. I said, "Well, what's going on?" She goes, "They are compulsively licking everything. They won't stop. They used to never do that." I said, "That's interesting. Okay, so I never know until I go into the field." Quick backdrop on her. What had happened was she'd been away actually in Mexico for a couple months doing some trainings or something and left the dogs with someone to watch them in her house. The long story short, when I did this session itself, 30-minute session, what had happened was the person taking care of the dogs was going through some depression and some dark stuff, and the pets actually picked up that energy. When I released that energy, immediately at the end of the 30-minute session, they stopped compulsively licking.
Wow.
So that's one time, and that's one success story. Another that always stands out, again, I primarily work with changes in behavior, okay? That's the main thing. Occasionally, I will get a call about an animal they've already taken to the vet. There's something major going on health-wise. Like I got a call about a cat that had an intestinal blockage, okay? The vet had taken a x-ray and said, intestinal blockage, you'll be $2,600 to do the surgery, okay? And the woman said, I love my pet, but I don't have $2,600. Can you help me? I said, well, again, I can never guarantee an outcome. I said, but since you're not going to do anything because you don't have the money, if you're willing to play, we'll just see what's possible. I can't guarantee an outcome. In that case, it was probably about like a 40-minute consultation. The cat was not drinking water, not eating food, definitely on its way out, not energetically pretty weak. So I did a consultation. This was like a Thursday. I get an email on a Sunday. She says, well, after the session, the Thursday and Friday, the cat still didn't look good at all. Not eating, not drinking water. But then, Thursday and Friday, Saturday, all of a sudden the cat started drinking water again, eating, and it has been fine since then.
Wow.
Okay. So again, that's what's possible. I can't say that will happen in every session because let me tell you why. Because my type of work has a very spiritual dimension, and its connection to source. So I can do what source allows me to do, And in that case, it was meant for that cat. I was meant to facilitate a change for the cat. But it's possible for another cat, it's their time to transition, and I do what I can, but it may be the time.
Okay, and nothing you do is invasive, correct?
That's correct. I just read the field, so I don't need to touch anything. I can just see what's going on energetically.
Awesome. Okay, so how can our viewers get in touch with you?
Yeah, there's several options. First of all, I'd encourage them to go to my website. It's People and Pets Energetics. People and Pets Energetics. And if you Google it, it's www.peopleandpetsenergetics.com. So that's one way. They can also check out my Facebook business page, People and Pets Energetics. And then they can also give me a call. The number through Skype is 210-775-2696. 210-775-2696.
Well, awesome. Mark, thank you so much for telling us today what you do. And everyone out there watching, check it out. If you've got pets and you want to know more information about what Mark does, then get in touch with him.
Great. Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me today.